I'm saying it from a point of view as I know your relationship's pretty good with food, and I understand where Meg's coming from with why she wants you to be a little bit more structured. And I think fair enough, it's around Christmas and you want to have that sort of flexibility part, but you're at that point now where you had a really good last off season and you transitioned into prep and you finished second, and now for you to take that next step from seconds to first, this period, although it's very small, you still got to treat this as this is the next little bit what's going to get me from second to first and over that line. And that's where my opinion is. If I was in your shoes last year when I finished and I was in that point where I'm pretty much on the cusp now, so I need to make sure that this bit's nailed, because if I nail this bit, then it sets the tone for everything else. And I understand what you're saying in the sense that...
But why didn't you do that?
I couldn't. I was in a really bad place. I was in a post show last year. I was in a bad place from my knee, and I also knew at that point that I still had a shoulder problem, which people didn't know about. So it's like I've got two big things to deal with, and I'm not saying this to take any discredit away from how you're feeling PMDD wise and stuff, but because you're so close, from me sitting from the outside, I would like to see you just nail those little bits. So those little bits where you've maybe missed something on your sheet, don't miss that on your sheet, because if you get that right now, then that step from being second automatically takes you further forward into that first place. And that's sort of just where my view is on it. And I think my view is similar to Meg's views, but I also understand that you're saying that this is how you handle post-show, and you don't want to go back into your old way of having an eating disorder and anything like that. But I almost think that you're past that. I don't think that's going to happen. I think you'll be all right. But I also think it's either, do you want to break this cycle now and go from second to first? And I think this will set you up and put you in the right place to get you there. I'm not saying it's going to slow you down, but I think that the excuses and putting other people first, to a certain extent, you've got to stop being selfish and put yourself first.
See,
the video there.
I think so. Basically, I've been hitting like my veg. I've been hitting my like micronutrient goal. I've had salt. I've had all my water. Hit my protein goal all except from one day of the photo shoot because I had more carbs. I go to bed early. Even you the other night were like, oh, I feel like you're like rushing me, like, and I'm like, no, it's because my bedtime's at this point. That's when I try and be selfish. And I think that I've put on 3 or 4 pounds. So I see like it as in, okay, well, like, geez, like, give me a break. Like, what am I really doing? Like, I'm not, at least you're not sitting here saying, Kerry, like, you're fucking your off season up. You're eating 3,000 or 4,000 calories and you've put on 10 kg since post show. Like, now you've fucked your off season.
No, but we want your body weight to go up. That's the thing. And I think that sometimes when you go from that initial point of prep weight, you always want it to be down, or low. And then you go into off season, it's hard to have that mindset change. And I know that we've mentioned in our post show chats that we don't want off season body composition to get bad. But your body composition last off season wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
But your off season this time is way shorter.
Yeah.
Because you don't need a big off season. You don't need to get really out of shape because you've got the mass there. Like, the tweaks to your physique now are, not that they're minimal, like, you still do need more glute density, but you don't need to be shoveling food like Mark and me anymore.
No.
You don't need to be doing that. But when it comes to flexibility, I think that lots of people have a really skewed view about what flexibility is when it comes to competing, because bodybuilding is a really extreme sport, and unfortunately it does require for you to be extreme at different points. But we would never want your food relationship to go through the gutter. This is why, for me, I gave you that week off per show, because I was like, right, I want you to have the week off. I know that she's someone who likes to have actual time away. Unfortunately, we got ill, so you have to have more time off from the gym, which is not a problem. But when it comes to macro tracking, when it comes to foods, and I know that with a previous coach, that's something that you were both told to do.
Yeah.
But when it comes to bodybuilding, whole good foods, rices, potatoes, things like that, that sometimes get swapped out for other things,
Yeah.
them other things are not as good quality.
Mm-hmm.
When those other things are not as good quality, it will affect how you recover after a competition, which PMMD, oh my goodness, PMDD.
You said every voice note, you said it, but I just ignore it. PMDD. She said it like that every time. Anyway.
I do understand it, by the way.
PMMD.
PMMD.
Every time you
We know
say
what
it,
you
if I play it out loud, we just go like...
We know what you mean.
DD.
Yes.
We know that PMMD... I didn't say it again.
Yeah, you did.
Jesus Christ.
Bloody Nora.
Bloody Nora. We know that PMDD, whoa, got it, is a huge factor.
Oh gosh, yeah.
But if you were to be a little bit better with those things, in terms of their quality of food and what it brings to your body, it would help you recover better. Mentally, it will help you, and I do promise you that. So that's my only kind of take point with it. But we also have to remember that you are your own being.
Mm-hmm.
You are someone that is a what's the word I'm looking for? An experienced competitor. You're not someone that's new to the sport. You're a veteran, could we call you?
Yeah.
Per show, and we all do have our own things that we like to do. But I know that you wanted me to be honest with you at all points.
Yeah.
When it comes to how I am to you, because I know that when you first started with me, you said that you really find, I don't like talking about myself, by the way, but you find how I am inspirational.
Yeah.
In that you like how I work with myself, and you wanted me to keep you to that standard, which is why I mentioned the things that I think is going to be better for you.
Yeah.
But again, you have to choose what's right for you. It's like, if you wanted more time off from the gym, not a problem. But for me, hitting those foods, as well as like, do you know, if you wanted to do like 2 evenings a week where you had an off-plan meal, fine. But hit your 3 meals a day of your plan, take out your 2 meals, eat a meal. If that means that your body weight goes up a little bit because you're saying that your meals are smaller, it's okay. You are pretty sure it will come down.
I think, just in case you guys think I'm like doing something like major wrong, like
It's
I
small
think
steps.
I'm literally eating rice cakes, dark chocolate, almond butter, I have yogurt for breakfast, my whey protein, I cook raw weight chicken. The only thing I would say which is like bad is instead of whey, I've had a protein mousse from Aldi, which is poor quality, I would say. But like other than that, like yeah, obviously I went to
Your rices, your potatoes.
the market. I've had potatoes, cheese, like the stuff that's on my plan. I have, haven't I?
Yes.
Every night I have vegetables, my same meal that I have on prep. Like I'm actually not being bad. I think the only thing is there's like
I just do it with each
I'll have like 100 grams of potato and then have like 2 Milky Way celebrations.
Yeah, which is what
Which is the poor quality.
Yeah.
But I'm not having off-plan meals as such. And if I do, like I went for an off-plan yesterday.
But I want you to have an off-plan
And
meal.
I know, but I think I don't necessarily like want an off. Like, I took my meal with me yesterday. I felt peer pressure just because everyone else was like having stuff.
Yeah, but
So I was
but
like,
this is,
okay.
This is the thing. It doesn't matter what anyone else is
Yeah.
doing. Like you should like. There was other IFBB pros with you, and not to discredit anybody.
Feeding me up if you're watching this. Yeah, you were.
Like I want you to be better than them.
Yeah.
And that's no discredit to anybody.
Yeah, I know.
And the people
I know.
that were there also knew that I'm a very not honest and open person.
Mm-hmm.
But I want you to be better than them. I want you to be better than
I
everybody
know.
in the UK.
I think, like, I feel like I have, like, I got back, like, on that Wednesday post-show, and I sat down at my laptop, ate my meal one, did work, then your operation was Friday, and you told me we were leaving. He told me at, like, 7 p.m, oh, we're going to go tonight. and like I was like, oh great, so I didn't have anything
it's
like.
It's been stressful.
I practiced best as I could.
There's been things in there that's
and
really
then
got in the way, the shoot and.
I haven't
like
put
that.
I haven't put myself first. I've put clients first. I've been having meltdowns. The gym's gone out the window. You've told me to go to the doctors.
Has she been to the doctors?
No way. No, I haven't. I felt like I've been. Literally, I've not put myself first. And then when I have tried to, even going to bed early. You even said to me the other night that, oh, you're rushing me, and I'm like, this is what happens when I try and put myself first. I end up upsetting other people.
Well,
so I just feel like I felt loads of pressure, like I'm doing really bad, but then I'm thinking like other people are like fucking 10 kg above their stage weight right now, and I know we don't want me to be really lean.
Cut in there. Yesterday when you came back and you she was saying to me, this is what I ate. I don't think it's necessarily bad, and I know that if I eat like an off-plan meal, my weight's not going to be like yours, where yours just maybe stays the same or goes up just a little bit. Mine's going to shoot up really high, so I feel like it's all right maybe if I just adjust my macros slightly to fit in that extra meal there. And you was almost looking at me for me to say, yeah, that's all right, and I was looking at you saying, actually it's not, because the way I see it now is, if I'm in your position and I'm that close, nothing's going to stop me from thinking, well, I know what I need to do now to get over that other line. So if you're looking for me to say, yeah, you're all right, Kerry, like pat you on the back, it's not going to happen. No. Because at this point now, it's, do you want it bad enough to do the work to get you over that line? Because if I'm in your shoes and I've just come second and I'm that close and I know I don't need that much more in this next off-season phase, you need to start putting the work in from now to get that routine, because I feel like the longer it goes on, it's more time what's being wasted, and we've not got time to waste. If you want to qualify and you want to get there, you've got to do it now. And that's where I stand. So I understand what you're saying about the whole food relationship, but you've got to get past it. It's like prep again. If you were on prep right now and you had to do what Meg's telling you, you would do it. So this is prep now.
And like the one
I just felt like I needed a bit of a break.
I promise I did give you that. I promise you.
I know. I just feel like where I was probably unwell.
Yeah,
like, I just felt like
extend it a little bit
and your
longer.
stuff, and then we went to the United thing, and there's just been no like. It sounds like an excuse. I feel like I've not had like.
But you do now.
But I have been eating 4 or 5 meals a day, like still.
But you do now. You have that time. So the only thing that I'll say with it all
today I've eaten
is that in your opinion, right? I know it's different for you because you probably do work with a lot of clients because of how you've been with your eating in the past, that you have to deal with a lot of clients with bad food relationships and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
you're looking at
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when it comes to the foods and the macro tracking and the swapping and having these little chocolates here and there, the things that like you do really fancy, do you think that that's giving you the same as having your foods going out for a Turkish? Because I know that you like Turkish food.
Yeah. What do you say that again?
Meat, some chips, some rice, foods. Rather than
I think I'm looking at it in like
calories.
Just what I
which is
fancied like.
I know, and I want you to have those little things, but you can have those little things on top of your off-plan meal.
I think that's what scares me.
But that's what comes from your past, because it doesn't matter if your body weight goes up a little bit from an off-plan meal, because as soon as you get back to your food plan the next few days, that water weight that comes from it is going to come down anyway. It is okay to do that, but having foods in your meals, rather than like little snacky bits, honestly, will really help from a physique perspective. And I'm not talking from a mindset perspective here.
Yeah.
And I do know that we have to tread with caution, because you do sometimes, like when you text me saying I'm going to eat everything, I was thinking, get it out of your system then.
Yeah. But it's like you just got me to stop, and then I actually sat down and I thought, do you know what, like I've just eaten like 7 chocolates here. My mum would probably do that, and that's my like reference point. Sometimes I try and go, your mum would do that and she would be fine and she wouldn't be thinking about that, so like you're okay. Is there a fly or something, Mummy?
I think it's in your hair. I think you've got a little
I think that was a one-off.
But then like I also like, even you've just come off the back of a diet, and like you've been, and your diet was like half of mine, it's all relative, whatever. But like, this is the first time you've ever like.
Yeah. But that's why you can talk about it.
But this
reverse
again,
like this, and I think it's different every time.
It is different,
sometimes.
and if I look back at previous preps when I've finished, I've kind of got the results I've wanted. So it's been like, oh, I've got the results, I've placed well, so I can kind of do what I need to do. Last year for me was a very hard year in the fact that I didn't get what I set out to achieve, and my season ended not how I wanted it to end. And I had the knee injury, and I also knew that the shoulder at some point needed to be looked at, which people didn't know about. But the hardest thing was, because I was in a bad place mentally, I couldn't stick to what should have been the plan. My food went pretty low. But now that I've been working with Cuba and we pulled back and we had this diet, it was nowhere as long as yours, I think it was 10 weeks in duration, I've got in my mind, and from conversations I've had with Cuba, it's, you nail this phase now, it sets you up perfectly for your next phase. And all I've got in my mind is, I want to win next year. And I know if I nail this phase now, it puts me in the best possible place. So when that day when you were speaking and you were saying, I've had these 7 chocolates, I feel like I could just eat a bit more. It's like, well, why are you going to keep a bit more? I'm going to challenge you because I know what I want to get for myself, but I want you to get it too. And I'm not going to have you as a passenger. I want you to come along on the journey too and get where you need to get to. So if you're behind, I'm going to drag you along to make sure that you're going to get to where you need to get to too. And this is why I'm saying, when you've come second and you're in a nice place mentally, I came second and then I came third and I didn't qualify and I had my injuries. I wasn't in a good place mentally. You're in a good place mentally. Aside from PMDD, you can get there before I can get there because I'm still recovering. So I want you to get there so I can meet you there.
I think the thing is though, like, obviously you've had a lot going on with your operation, but if you'd like actually, if you read the messages that I've been sending people, which I screenshotted to you the other day, like, I haven't even wanted to like be here.
I know, I understand that.
So for like you to say that, like, I'm in a good place and it's like fine, like, I've cried on the phone to my mum, like,
I think that's also,
and that, like, my boobs are killing me. Sorry, like, it all comes with it, and so does hunger.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just feel like I know everyone wants the best for me, but I almost feel like I've just not had, like...
I think that's what Christmas will give you though. I think that being able to spend some time with family, actually have some downtime, you've not got here, there and everywhere to go and people to please, like, you can have some downtime from things like client work and everything. That's what Christmas will give you. I think what Mark's trying to say is, because bodybuilding is going really well, and we know from a mindset perspective when it comes to well, we can say the D word, can't we? The depression side of things. Obviously that comes in line with the PMDD. I said it wrong this time. It is really difficult, and I understand that, because being a woman and understanding the feelings that you get around your cycle, for someone to have that for 14 days out of a month, which means that the only other half is alright, like, it will weigh like a really big toll on you. It is very difficult because it is not a nice place to be in mentally. But from a bodybuilding perspective, everything is really thriving, and I think that if you capitalise on that and hold on to that, it will allow you. And I only speak from not experience with me per se, but experience of people that I know in the sport that do have difficult times mentally, that they use that, not even just the placings, but the wins in training, the wins in everything to do with the developments with your physique, the developing of more finances because of the clients that you get through their things. And I think that sometimes you try to hold on a little bit too much to the things that weigh you down, rather than really focusing on the things that are pulling you up.
And there's so many things that are.
There are so many things, But then, like, I understand a really busy life. I understand, like, the pressures of day-to-day life. I understand being with a bodybuilder and what that brings with life. But I always try to focus on all these things that are really trying to pull me up, to really help that when these things are really weighing down, and I know that your weigh downs are way worse than mine, but they really do start to feel a little bit less heavy, a little bit more light.
I think that is true. I think one of the conversations that really threw me down this week was, and it takes me back to when people have told me, like, you haven't got PMDD before. Like, I think, like, it actually makes me feel really emotional, like, even now. Like, the whole, or maybe you haven't even got PMDD. And I'm like, oh, like, am I psycho? Like, or, I don't know, it's just been such a weird time. And then, like, I don't want to pull you down because you've just had an operation, but I've been, like, trying.
So then,
I just feel like a psycho.
No, so
literally.
When something like that happens, you've got to try and flip it on your head. Right, okay, so if it's not, and there is other things that could be going on, let's try and figure out, and let's try and get some answers.
Whereas I push it away.
Exactly. So,
which is what I've done, because you said to me, have you spoke to...
I know.
And I'm like,
I know.
no.
I know. So, but that is you, and that is your personality, and that's how you are, and it's kind of
used to be. So
it's kind of irrational.
Yeah,
times.
very.
And I know that because
ding ding ding.
Because that's just
her phone. She would be like, oh.
I'm there at my desk. I'm not.
I'm sorry. I am so like that.
Don't say sorry because everybody is so different. But everything that happens, like, you've got to. I always try and think about, like, someone that potentially might be going through something really difficult. Like, I don't know, people across the world that don't have a house to live in, that don't have food to be able to have, people that are disabled that don't have the ability to be able to do anything that we do because they literally don't have the ability. Regardless of the tough times that we have, there's always a way to be able to figure out and question and get answers for everything, but we have to try and push for it.
I said this like 3 days ago to my client friend Kiki. I said I need to be more, like, because I speak to her about this every day, and I said to her, like, I need to be more grateful and more aware of, like, other things, and that usually helps me.
I don't think that you're an ungrateful person in any way. I don't think that needs to be the word, but I think it's that, yes, this guy's potentially said, maybe it's not that, maybe we need to look down the route of other things, but then for me in them shoes, and I know that it's not me, I would be right, alright, okay, so let me book all these tests in.
And I think and that's when I'm not in my right mind.
Whereas you go, fuck it. Everybody's telling me I'm a psycho because I've not got it, but I definitely have got it, and nobody believes me.
Yeah.
It's almost like...
But I feel like if you said it to me when I wasn't in that, like, it's so, say we're in a good part of whatever this is, then I would probably do that. And then other times I would push it away. It's psycho. It's so crazy.
Sometimes when someone takes a message, and I have to do this sometimes, I probably have to do it with client work and things like that, you go, right, there's a message. Let me go and have a breather for 5 minutes.
I actually think I need to do that more. You do that really well, and you clearly do as well.
Let me maybe even write something down.
Yeah.
Go back to it again in 2 minutes and like, no, that's too reactive. And then
I need to do that. I need to do that.
With the message with Jack, it's like your replies were like, oh, this,
yeah, fuck.
Rather than, right, okay, let me go and speak to Mark and Meg. Let's come up with a decision. let's come up
I
with
literally replied, fuck my life.
Yeah, let's come up with a plan of attack. And, like, let's be honest, all the other things after speaking to each other that he's come up with, like, they don't really align with the things that we see, because we've seen the blood work, we've seen how you are and whether you get poorly around this time of the month, etc. Like, all the things that you're saying with the other stuff, it's literally just the case this month because you have been poorly, not because of anything else.
Yeah.
So,
and the other time the CRP was elevated, I was really unwell.
Yeah,
when
exactly.
I had those bloods done.
Exactly. And if we look at the blood work that I had a look at the blood work that we've had done, it elevates a little, But unfortunately, we all will do
Yeah,
around
yeah.
that time. So
Yeah.
it's never been that aggressive.
Yeah.
So I think that we need to calm.
Yeah, I feel like that.
We need to figure out. There is a fly in here. We do need to figure out potentially trying something different to HRT because that's not worked. Just so that we can actually get you feeling good. Even if, like, I don't know, if you could have like 7 days of feeling shit, I think that we could deal with that. But it's like 16, it's like 16 days out of the month.
I just want to say though, like, you are so good because, like, I will be so up in the air. Like, normal jobs that, like, don't stress you, like, stress me. Like, and I know a lot of people, because obviously I speak to a lot of people that DM me who, like, have massive relationship struggles, who, like, have to end their relationships, and, like, there's all kinds of things that are, like, unspoken even from me that go through even my mind at this point.
But you need to get that out.
Yeah, I think I've kind of touched on it before, but, like, I get paranoid and, like, think all things, but then in my right mind, like, the next day I'll wake up, like, you know, I always say my right mind, like, when it's not PMDD or whatever this is, and then I'll be like, oh my god, like, how did you even think that? Or, it's really, really irrational.
As a woman, you can relate to that because I know, like, the psychotic dreams that I get when I'm on my period or around my period of, like, death and cheating and things like that.
Me.
Like,
I'll get well angry when I wake up.
But then that's like every month for 2 weeks, so it is horrendous.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that you have that.
Well, it is, but that's what it is. Like, PMDD.
So you wake up and you're like,
yeah, but
I get a kick in the night.
PMDD is literally a very aggressive form of how you feel premenstrual, like really aggressive. But you have it for 2 weeks out of the month.
Yeah, it's scary. In Japan, I woke up, like, screaming and shouting at myself, and I was
and then need the floor. Wasn't that morning?
What, when I just fell?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's life. But anyway,
just to wrap up the season, by the way, because obviously we've spoken a lot. Can I wrap up the season?
Yeah.
It was a very successful season. Obviously, Kerry achieved 2nd place in the competition in Japan.
Taiwan.
12th. Wait, let's go again.
5th.
Let's go again. We're going to go again.
5th,
Scratch.
12th, 2nd.
To wrap up the season, obviously Kerry came 2nd in Taiwan. She came 12th in Japan. That was a bad week. The look wasn't bad, but that was just a bad week. And it was a very stressful day, and it wasn't a true representation of Kerry. It was neither Kerry's or my fault. It was just a bad week.
Yeah.
We'll not be doing a show on those types of weeks ever again.
I agree.
Definitely. And then obviously we had a really great showing with 5th as well.
That
so
was great.
Even though potentially she's not won the Olympia qualification, it's a very successful season. And in all the UK girls, all the bikini pros of the UK, she's actually placed the best in the open qualifier. Obviously we know Miss Phoebe Hagen is fantastic and came 11th at the Olympia. But Kerry's actually placed the best out of any girl in 2023 at an open pro Olympia qualifier. Yeah, that's right. So that's fantastic. Like, that's huge, and that's why me and Mark really want to set that standard and see her do really well, which is why we are like we are, to, I guess we could say, put a bit of pressure on her.
And I'm grateful. I am grateful for it.
And it's only because we care that we say those things, and we have a very open, honest relationship between the three of us, which obviously works very well as well. And we only want what's the best for Kerry, but she has the potential to get an Olympia qualification in 2024, and I do believe that, which is why I am wanting her to nail it.
Leads me on to something. So I've had a few of my close friends and stuff ask me, or basically saying, you need to compete the beginning of the year. Like, you're still in shape now, go at the beginning of the year. But I disagree it because, one, you two know me and how things have been recently, and what we need to get nailed. What people, obviously I show a lot, but yeah, there's stuff you can't show. But also, I don't want to step on stage not improved. I still need to make improvements. I might look big on the photos you see me or whatever, I don't know, but when you put you in a lineup, there's still bits missing that we need.
So
yeah,
Kerry's still a great competitor, but she does still have developments. You can't do that in a deficit, and if you are a competitor yourself, please don't be deluded into thinking that you can make improvements in a deficit, maybe slight, and more so in not too much of a deficit.
I completely agree, and there's so much like so many lean people that manage to stay lean, but they're
there.
They're there.
Like
they can
you
do that.
take your Lauren Chapados, you take your Ashley Caswater, you take your Issa Puccini, I might have said your name wrong, I'm really sorry.
Jen Dory,
they all have it there. They don't have to take really long off seasons, they don't have to get
they need to lose muscle, some of them are trying to lose muscle.
Yeah, Laura Lee has to lose some size to be able to stay within that category and criteria. Even Alison Testu, she has to lose some size to be able to fit into that category. But Kerry still does need a little bit of size. Like if we physique analyse her needs, she needs more of that for her front shot to look more shapely. We need to make sure that she's a little bit less bloated when we go into a competition day, whether that be through stress, whether that be through trialling some of the things that we've already spoken about. We also need to potentially add a tiny little bit of delt side, especially from the rears, just to give that back shot a little bit more pop. And then we do need some more glute, because as much as they were lean and they were great, we wouldn't have to dig as hard as what we did if they were as big, which would also give her an overall more poppy look to her physique. So that's what we need to do.
And I also think, sorry to butt in, I also think that if you see me on my own, you might not see that, whereas if you see me like in a lineup, then you see that a bit more. So like a lot of the stuff I post on my social media generally is just me, and that's never you in a lineup.
No.
And there's stuff we need to do, and I'm not, luckily, I'm not, or I don't know if you can say luckily, but I'm not the old me that wants to just go back on stage. I actually went in the gym not for the first time today, but for the first time did my program today, filmed every set and was like, can't wait to get like this looked at, and actually felt the fire, and I actually feel like that's there now. And like he said, like, oh, are you gonna train on Christmas Day? And I'm like, gym's open, it's a Monday, and like I actually feel like today I feel like I've had a bit of a like it's there again, so I think that's super positive, and I actually feel better in myself now, like not unwell. So hopefully we'll just obviously manage the next few days with festivities because we've got a lot on, but yeah, it's
going to be good. It's going to be a good year as long as we get things really well.
100%, and I want to keep documenting it all and showing everything as well, especially the fact that you need to put the work in and eat food to grow, so that helps.
The right food as well.
The right food, good food. I don't eat like a dickhead every day. I don't
eat like a dickhead. But
I don't.
Need to get you on we've got to get you on the rice and potatoes for the prep.
Yeah.
Can I just add something on that as well? I think you've had a great year. I think at the start of prep there were some moments when PMDD was really bad, and some of the conversations you had with me was like, I don't know if I can do this prep, and that's an honest thing. You didn't know if you could, just because how you was feeling with your mood and stuff. So to actually get through those stages, there were some times in the gym when you was literally between sets, like had your hand, your head in your hands, like, and I was looking at you thinking, I didn't even know how you're going to do the session, but you still turned up, you got through the sessions, you got on stage, you performed well. The show where you came 12th, I think you kind of accepted beforehand, because you knew that it was going to be a tough week with PMDD, that you weren't probably going to look how you would like to look. And then I think when you add in the whole stress of getting to the venue and stuff, I don't think that shows a true reflection compared to your other two shows where you placed really well. It was just a very tough week. But from my side, I think you've done great. Really proud of what you've achieved. And now, although myself and Meg believe in you, it's still now for you to believe in you, because even when you placed 5th at the first show, you was like, this is a fluke. And then you went to the other show, you came 12th, you're like, see, I told you it was a fluke. And then you came back and you did the last show, and I said, I think you're either first or second. You couldn't believe it. And there was still a doubt in your head, like, oh, I don't know if I'm good enough. And that's where you've got to get that switch now, that mindset. I am good enough, but it's just doing what I need to do daily to give myself that best chance to win. Because you don't know who's going to turn up on the day, but you know if you've nailed everything you need to nail and you turn up, you're putting yourself right where you need to be to achieve that first place and get the qualification. So that's my little bit, but proud of what you've done, and there's definitely more to come as well.
Yeah, there's more to come. I feel like, now I've had my almost bit of kind of downtime, which is usually longer than this as well, and I've been on it since properly since November last year, going through everything. I don't know, I feel like I think there's always going to be ups and downs though. You've only recently just really switched on to your own path.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's like a balance of the pressure that I need to kind of deal with and just get into the habits again. They're there from the morning, when I wake up, to the lemon, ginger, all this small stuff that wasn't actually there before. It's there. So now it's just the foods, the getting rid of the little bits and just making sure all of the food sources are whole. Yeah.
And everything on that, where me and Meg are pushing you, we're pushing you from a good place, because we want to see you achieve what you probably don't still quite believe, but we know that you can achieve.
There's a lot of mind work to be done, I think, as well, with Rob Latty, who I will, and of course you, but I think you said, and I know that I did step on stage having ticked every box, so that does give you that belief, but it's because I couldn't have done any more. But there's another little thing we need to unlock or dial into, or however you say it.
The thing is,
which I agree.
This is the first show we've also done together, so I think you get to know each other more through prep. This is why I think it's so good to work with someone for a long time. I know that you get to know each other a lot more as well, so I think that you understand that when I'm being potentially aggressive. It's not.
I get it. No, and I can look at it, and I always end up replying to you saying yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I know.
Or it makes you think.
And I always put a little love heart on there just to make sure that she knows that it's coming from my heart.
I know. It is because we have you and Cuba probably do. We have conversations where I'll be why is it 1 p.m. and there's still your apple cider vinegar on the side, or your lemon and ginger on the side, or why is it 6 p.m. and you're only just eating your meal, or and I think that's it is.
Off each other.
Yeah, it can initially maybe make you ugh, tick.
Yeah, 100%.
But I know 100%. I was trying to justify me in our conversation yesterday, but everything he was saying was right.
Yeah.
Was right, and it is right. And you do the same. You probably do the same, and it gives you a little ick. But then you're oh, that person only wants the best, and I think it strengthens you as an athlete, doesn't it? And it's what we need for us to push on. And it's a hard sport, but I do want to outdo people with the top genetics and stuff, and that don't do the little
I
things,
think-
and maybe I need to do them.
I
When
think that
do need to do them.
well, if we look at somebody from the top, like if we look at like Jen Dory and stuff, we know that she's like,
Yeah,
like you know, because it's there to see.
yeah, 100%.
And I think that tapping into that is just something that you need. Like, forget about people that are potentially other pros in the UK that aren't coming in the first call outs or whatnot. Like, it doesn't matter what those people are doing and how they're treating their post show and how it's fun and games and laughing and joking. Like, you want to fucking win. You want to go to the I'm sorry for swearing. No profanities on YouTube. You want to be great.
Yeah.
Like, leave people behind that are like that.
I feel a lot of fire from just sitting here with these honest conversations. So yeah, I feel like we could probably
She's had a coffee, so she'll
wrap
probably
this
keep
one
talking. So.
So that means Kerry's over and out.
peace out. Thanks for watching. And
Like,
Yeah.
share, subscribe.
like, share, subscribe. We're out.
That's how you get the news.